is the new Chief Experience Officer at Publicis Sapient. What does the Chief Experience Officer do?
Well, the best way to understand it is to understand what Publicis Sapient does, which is takes technology and brings experience to it. Kind of like this set. It's a full experience, but it's only as good as the technology inside it. And so my job is to be able to meld those two together with the fluency that I bring.
One thinks of Publicis as being a very traditional, conservative, French advertising and consultancy group. So this is, to some extent, a different, not a different direction, but an advancement.
Well, it's the part of the Publicis network, Publicis Sapient, that is the technology company. And a simple example is how I hadn't heard of it until last year. But I know that I was in the airport. In the airport, I see McDonald's getting more technologically fluent, and screens everywhere, mobile app, et cetera. I was like, how did they transform themselves? That's the kind of thing that Publicis Sapient does.
One of the fascinating areas of your work is the opposite of the startup, isn't it? You have a name for that.
The Endup.
The Endup.
Right.
Now, I love this. Explain.
Well, you know, a startup wants to grow up and end up successful. A company that's established has ended up successful, but wants to know how a startup does its stuff.
Right. And the danger is the Endup ends up looking like your parents' disco dancing.
Oh my gosh, you said it so perfectly. You want to be the cool parent, is my point. And so to be a cool parent Endup, you have to inject yourself with startup technology.
Which traditional companies do you think have done that best? Name some companies that you are really impressed with the way, you know, whether it be a GE or a McDonald's, that you say, that has managed to give itself the cachet of a startup entrepreneurial spirit.
Well, they're all trying really hard, and it's hard.
Too hard.
It's hard because innovation in a big company is a bad word. When you're in a big company and your title is innovation, it means you might go away during a recession. So the challenge for the Endups is to embrace transformation, the technology, as not a risk, but a core essential competency.
Do you think that makes a difference if technology is already part of the company's DNA? For example, airlines.
Yes.
You know, airlines, they are obsessed by data, they're obsessed by technology, and obviously obsessed by safety. But even airlines are having difficulty understanding how these new technologies and new distribution channels can benefit them.
Right. Well, you know, airlines are technology-oriented, but I learned in the process of learning about Publicis Sapient is that this company was the one that figured out how to do the online reservation seating thing. That came from Publicis Sapient a long time ago. So an airplane company has to fly airplanes, but the systems have to come in. They need a turbo assist, and that's where this kind of company comes into play.
Do you prefer working with end or startups?
Startups. I love Endups because that's the way most of our economy was built, and they're having a hard time playing the startup game.
And when it comes to working with companies, do you prefer pure tech, app-based or something like that, or a company that makes something, a table, a carpet, a suit, that has to adapt technology into it?
I'm so glad you asked that question, because the reality is that an app is not enough. It's the entire experience, like your beautiful studio here. Every piece of it is technology, but also experience. So it isn't just about what you can see here. It's also the infrastructure